Welcome in to the Real Spiel live show. Night hours here on the channel. Thank you all so much for tuning in here, listening to us. We're going to get into a few things. We're going to chat about a few things. It's your host, Roman Kelly, joined by my co-host, Kendall Fuller, my other co-host, Will Wigginton. Missing Trevor Kelsey at the moment. No comment on that. May be in any second now. May not be in. You never know how it is with Trevor, but it's all good. We'll do good with him. We'll do good without him. He won't be mad that we're on, but I'm sure he'll get on as soon as he knows that we're currently live. Fellas, it's been a minute since we've been on. Trevor went live for us post game after the victory against James Madison, in which we won 28-14. Our Louisville football team did, but it's been a minute. So I want to get into a few things. I want to discuss a few things. I want to see where your all's heads are at, see where your all's emotions are at about this Louisville football team going into this Bowling Green matchup this week. Will, it looks like we lost your camera there. Maybe that's just me.
Black
I don't
for
know.
me too.
Can you see me right now?
No,
Nah, but we can hear you.
Oh. Well, here, I'll hop out real quick and go back in. Weird.
You sound great.
Huh. All right, 1 second.
You know, it's the Real Spill live show, so we're going to have some technical difficulties to start the show off. It won't be the Real Spill unless that's the case. Still got a black screen from Will. We're going to let him join up. Can you see us, Will?
Yeah, and I have a screen like on my end. So hang on. I'm just going to quit out of all of this, and then I'll join back through the link.
All right.
Sounds good. No worries there. But, Kendall, as we're waiting for Will to get in here, I want to ask, how have you been in the last couple of weeks? It's been, what, 10 days almost, or 12 days, something since like
I want to say. If we went, if he was a Monday or Tuesday, so that at least 12. But shit, man. I was pretty upset after that win at first, given how the team performed. I got my thoughts to myself, and I'm not as mad. So we'll get into that, I know. But shit, other than that, man, just school. Enjoyed the college football this last Saturday, I had two different parlays that they both would have been a combined $600, and all I was waiting for was a Notre Dame win and a South Carolina win, and they both just completely fell out on me on Saturday. So that was not the best, but
a rough day of betting for you there Saturday.
Yeah.
School's going well though. It's good to hear that.
Yeah.
Will, how about you, my man? How's life been for you since we've been on last?
Pretty good. Just finished up my first session of classes last week, and that was a pain, but got through it. Kind of like KJ, I was pretty annoyed with the James Madison game. I actually had to watch that at a rehearsal dinner for one of my best friend's weddings that we had the day after. So, had that going on as well a couple weeks ago. Been hanging out with the guys, going golfing a little bit, hanging out with the girlfriend, just out and about.
That's good to hear. Love to hear that. It's crazy you guys are like I hear you guys are in classes in school still. I mean, I know you guys are few years younger than me,
Yeah,
but you're not much younger than me. I think you're
yeah,
both
nah,
2 years
Yeah.
younger than me, maybe 3 years
yeah,
for you, KJ. So it's kind of just wild that you guys are still having to live that basically a full on adult lifestyle, but
yeah.
having to go be college students at the same time. Still, I remember it. It's tough. It can get rough out here, but
It's not fun.
Not
when
fun,
you're
man.
also not hitting bets, it can get really tough. I'm just kidding. Uh, um, fellas, the James Madison game, there's a lot of ups. I mean, there's a lot of things that I feel like weren't positives, but there was also the fact that we won this game. We won by double digits. We didn't cover. If you know, based on the line before the game time whistle, the 0.5 would have got you hooked there. But defense looked great. There's also a lot of positives from this game, from the defensive line. I feel like from in a perseverance standpoint, the fact that the offense was still able to at least generate that one big pass play that led to a touchdown, the one big run play that led to a touchdown. That's like the almost minimal floor expectation for any single Jeff Brom game is one of two of those types of plays, at least a couple happening in a game, no matter how the game looks. There should always be a couple of those in a Jeff Brom offense, and we were still able to see a couple plays like that, so that's good. But, excuse me, sorry. Not how we wanted to look pretty much outside of that at all. The run game consistently not having any success, red flag. Offensive line in the pass game not giving Miller Moss any time, red flag. Miller Moss not seeming to deal with that pressure consistently, knowing it's coming, red flag. Jeff Brom and the staff not changing the play calling at least enough to offer some productivity, the ability to move the ball down the field after you knew what was coming from the JMU defense. Not necessarily a red flag, but just not a good sign, like, you know, a caution sign there. So a lot of things we can go nitpick and get into. I don't really want to go. Sorry, that LA doing me in right now, fellas. I'm having a late one, and that shit doing me in right now, fellas. Fuck. But I do want to get into what we feel like the main positives were, what we feel like the main negatives were. If there's some things we can like take away from that performance that we need to be putting a notice on for every single game going forward. Obviously, Will, there's a couple things you pointed out in your preseason predictions, not game predictions, in your bold predictions, kind of coming unfolding and before our very eyes right now in these very two games. So let's get into it. Let's discuss it a little bit.
Yeah, I would say I'll start with the negatives
Kidding me.
and with the positives. So I'm ending off on a better note. But I would say the main negative, people will usually point to the offensive line or Miller Moss, and while those are negatives, I totally agree with that. I do think that the play calling was garbage. Jeff Brom is such a good play caller and has a great scheme, but there are several times in which he's been at Louisville where he has called absolutely putrid games, just from a play calling perspective. That's not even to mention other faults he has as a coach, like his clock management, which is also terrible. That's a more consistent issue. The play calling is either really good or it's not very good at all. That game was an example of it being terrible. I mean, when you realize the pass rush that James Madison was getting, the blitzing on running downs they were establishing, and then choosing to run play action screens out of the pistol, jet sweeps to Colin Lacey when they're shooting the gap on every single down, and running up the A gap consistently when that's where they're bringing their pressure from was just stupid. It really was. We didn't do enough to put them on their heels, that being James Madison. to make them uncomfortable and to make them pay for the pressure they had. And that's not to say they blitzed all the time. There were some downs where they only sent 4 guys and the pass protection didn't hold up. There were several times where we had very clean pockets and Miller Moss still bailed out really quick and unnecessarily. So I would have liked to see him step up in the pocket or hang tough in the pocket and make the throws necessary. And I would have loved to see the offensive line have a much better performance than they did. It was honestly pathetic. I don't blame Isaac Brown. I don't blame Duke Watson. I don't blame the receivers for not getting open because they weren't put in a position to succeed. So with all that said, offensively, I think it all comes back down to the play calling and knowing your personnel, which that night we didn't know our personnel, and we almost lost because of it. Defensively, Roman, like you said, pass rush was great. The defense had a few coverage busts that could have burned us. They didn't. But overall, I think we played a really solid game, and I am higher on our defense now than I was coming into the preseason, but that is cautious optimism because now Stanquan Clark's probably out for the season. A guy like Clev Lupin, and a groin injury is not something you want to mess with, especially as a pass rusher who relies on a speed rush. That can be dangerous. So just all that considered, I think you survive in advance, still have everything in front of us, but we definitely have a lot of issues to clean up. But at least we're 2-0. That's all that matters.
Isaac Brown looked good on that one run.
Yeah, it was, and that was perfect blocking. Yeah. Whether it was the O lineman, receivers,
to the outside, where the green space was. Where the green space was all night, actually. But
yeah.
KJ, I mean, Will basically touched everything there.
I mean, we'll
give you key takeaways, positive and negative, but then where you kind of stand now.
Well, like you said, Will said it all for the most part. And I definitely do blame the play calling above all. And the big thing is, as you said, Will, I'm not mad at our weapons at all because I just really feel like they're not being put in a position to succeed. I mean, that first half of play calling, genuinely, that might have been the worst half of play calling I've seen of the Jeff Brom era. It really was that bad. Yeah. It was terrible. And I'm also I'm trying to give Miller Moss grace, but dude, I'm getting concerned that we might just not have the guy back there. And that is biased because I felt that way before we came into the season. But I mean, I do think, as you said, Will, the defense, you got to look at that as a positive. I mean, I was at the game, and in the moment, I was a little upset, feeling like we weren't controlling the line of scrimmage, but the defense never got put in any kind of position to succeed. The offense could not sustain drives. We're having to sub guys in and out. They got put in short field position to go situations all the time. I mean, that defense, looking back, played about as well as they could. And we had to make no mistake, when we got that defensive touchdown, scoop and score, we had to have it. That was a moment like that defense literally won the game for you with that touchdown, in my opinion. So I do think that is a positive that you could maybe see if the defenses come out like this and execute this is something that you can sustain. But I am getting to a point where it feels like they don't really have the offense or the answers in how to get these weapons going in the offense. So that does concern me a little bit, but like you said, we're 2-0, and defense is playing better than I could have hoped for. So I'll give the coach and staff grace for now.
Yeah, Miller. I mean, he didn't look good, but at the same time, he wasn't being asked to do something that was going to have anybody lead. No one was going to have much success with what he was being asked to do there. Probably was unexpected for the offensive line for him to look like that when it did not look like that against Eastern Kentucky. I get it had its moments, but it also looked really good, I felt like, in moments against Eastern Kentucky as well, where it gave him all day. So he probably felt like it was unexpected a little bit. I am on standby as someone who was not very high on him. I feel like there's just going to be certain decisions that he fully cost us, and I also feel like there's going to be moments where we're glad he's back there. As certain plays, certain moments where if we would have had someone who was willing to use his body and use his legs like he is, we haven't really had the last couple of years. That's going to come in handy, I think, down the road. But close game stuff, I worry about the decision making when you have to pass the ball to move it down the field, and they know the pass is coming. Is he going to be able to be accurate enough? I don't know. Outside of the pocket, no. If the offensive line can work some things out, give him some time, and you have an offense that's forced for you to think that the runs may be coming every single time, and we have one of the deadliest play actions in the game, then he should be able to have some success, right? But we haven't seen that yet, so hopefully this offensive line can go in. Hopefully Sylvester can get back. They can move a couple pieces around, figure out who works where the best, and give Miller the time of day. So he can actually show us what he can do, fellas, because he had some games last season for USC where he looked like he could be very, very, very good with a little bit more fine tuning.
I mean, that game against
and Jeff Brom, we believe, is the QB fine tuning.
No, I was just gonna say that game against Penn State last year. I mean, one of the best defenses in it. He was carving them up. I mean, he was ripping them to shreds. I mean,
first game of the season against LSU.
Yeah,
looked really, really good too. So he's shown he can do it. Jeff Brom, Brian Brom, they've just got to get him in the positions to make the plays that are most suited for him with the weapons that we've got. But it's got to get fixed, and it's got to get fixed fast, fellas, because
Bowling Green,
Bowling Green isn't necessarily going to be that opponent that you're going to have to worry about. And obviously, the ACC hasn't looked like we thought it was going to look. That's even more reason, though, where you have to go every game you win, you need to be winning handedly now. So we got to go make sure you've got the tools and pieces playing the part to go make that happen. And hopefully TJ Capers, fellas, as well, Caleb Perry, whoever's going to be stepping up in that Stanquan Clark spot can prevent there from being a drop-off at that position, right? That's a tough ask. Yeah. I get it. Leading tackler.
I do think the linebacker depth is there, though. That's the one thing that kind of makes me feel better about it, is that you have a guy like TJ Capers who you've been kind of grooming to take over for Stanquan when he's gone, and then you have Caleb Perry as a guy that is a seasoned vet, maybe not going to be a star, but a plug-and-play guy that can be reliable. So I'm not terrified of the facing the fact that we're not going to have Stanquan, but obviously it's not going to be a positive thing. Like, we need him. So it's how you respond from it.
It is. Looking into Bowling Green, but also into the couple, based on what you've seen from Pitt, based on what you've seen from Virginia, right? Yeah, let's leave Miami alone. I actually haven't looked into Bowling Green. I haven't done my due diligence with Bowling Green yet, like I should have by now, to be fair. But, fellas, ACL surgery last Wednesday, a couple rehab sessions already. I've been getting back into the groove of things. It's tough when, first full few days after that, I'm not, I wasn't even like myself mentally, I feel like, until Saturday, and then I'm straight to football at that point. for 2 days straight, when Louisville doesn't have a bye game, you're not even focusing on Louisville football or anything like that. So kind of like a mini vacation within my immediate start to my recovery, which was nice. I think it helped me get to where I'm at now, which is ahead of schedule. So already off the crutches as of today, fellas. 6 days.
Hell yeah, man.
Doctor, kind of like based on my calf strength and quad strength, he felt, like in the measurements and stuff that I got at PT as well, I'm good to go without the crutches if I'm personally okay with it, if I feel safe with it. So kind of gonna take one crutch out the house and stuff, but feels good to be back to being able to do this kind of stuff. It's kind of why we didn't really have a show as well, but we'll make it happen, fellas. We'll get back to our consistent uploading and live streaming like we do here on YouTube, on Twitch, on X. Like, subscribe, comment down below. Let us know what you guys are feeling about Louisville football heading into this Bowling Green game. Spread opened up at 26.5. We're going to get into a couple of other things. I guess I know we didn't give an outline of the show. We're going to get into some NFL talk. Going to get into a little bit of Louisville men's basketball talk. I know you guys have probably seen the point guard U stuff. Pat Kelsey and the Field of 68 guys came to town, so I want to get your all's thoughts and opinions on that a little bit as well. We're going to try to keep things quick just because it's already getting late a little bit, and we're missing our storyteller, so we don't need a lollygag with us three in here. Just give the takes and opinions and the thoughts on the teams. But going to get into a couple other things as well. Let's just get into the NFL talk right now while we're on the topic of football. Fellas, NFL, pretty big, not big weekend, but eye-opening weekend for a week 3, I feel like, in the NFL season. So anything that stood out to you guys? I guess probably betting-wise there was a few things, but D-Hop on those 2 catches, man, just... Is he still the best diving catcher in the NFL? I love those kind of debates. Yeah. People are like, who cares who's the best diving catcher? I do. I want to rank the best what do you even call that? Underthrown diving catchers in the league. I want to discuss that and build a list of the top 10 of those kinds of things. Me and my friends do that kind of stuff. We rank the weirdest things, and it's fun to have those kind of debates and discussions. It's just crazy at his age. He's still out there moving like that down the side, being able to hawk down a ball like that and having his hands be probably still some of the best in the league. I thought that was super cool to watch. I thought in typical Russell Wilson fashion, looking like the clutchest guy in the league to give him a chance to win, and then when the game's on the line for real, looking like he doesn't belong in the league. It's just insane how he's still capable of doing that, fellas. But I don't want to.
That game was
I don't want to just
insane.
talk. What you guys? Any key notes from the weekend of NFL football from you guys, or college football? Like you said at the start there, South Carolina costed you. Notre Dame costed you there. KJ, it was an interesting weekend. Clemson loses. The ACC looks fucking terrible. Georgia Tech looks like they're going to fucking win the whole thing because they have the easiest schedule in all of the land now that they've just won and beat Clemson. So FSU out of nowhere back to – I'm not going to say back. FSU is not back. They're just good again. They're good again.
KJ, you go first. Your Chargers are legit, man. So hype them up.
I mean, if they're gonna let Herbert like really just be the best player on the field, which he will be, unless we're playing the Bills, Ravens, or Chiefs, we're gonna be hard to beat. But I think the biggest piece of news I would say, well, another one, Daniel Jones might be the MVP right now too. And I think that's pretty
dicing
that's
people.
QB1 right now.
He's been carving them up. But I think the craziest thing I wanted to touch on is I saw on Twitter. I'm sorry, I can't give anybody good credit, but I'm sure it's been circulated a lot at this point. But so Joe Burrow, obviously with that turf toe, they said he'll be back at best mid-December. This is his sixth season of play. Andrew Luck retired after 6 seasons. He was sacked 171 times. Joe Burrow's been sacked 200. I'm with you. I think it's the Bengals have to. Something has to be different.
200 times in 6 seasons?
203.
201, I think.
It was.
Right?
I saw 203. It might have been 2. It was over 200. I know that for a fact.
Yeah, just over 200.
You should like have a personal issue with the front office at that point.
I think
like you guys.
Also,
you don't care. In 6 seasons, you haven't tried to care about me.
Yeah. And KJ, beyond that, I think it was somebody besides the person who had the Andrew Luck Joe Burrow comparison, but they brought the rankings of the Bengals O-line the entirety of Joe Burrow's career. The highest his O-line has ever been rated, I believe, is like 27th or 28th in the league.
Unreal.
That is garbage. That's the best.
Unreal.
And I'm a Ravens fan, and I've hated the Bengals since I was a little kid. And I feel sorry.
And he
for the
took
guy.
him to a Super Bowl. Will
Does he?
You don't.
Does
it's
he
like
have
they
the best
don't know
weapons
what
in the
he's
league?
had. They don't know what they've got under center. Sorry, that's just
right. They have some of the best weapons in the league, but you can't do anything with those weapons if you can't protect your quarterback. So Jake Browning played. I mean, I know he threw a few picks, but they came back in the game and won against the Jaguars after Joe got hurt. When he was in backup duty for Joe a couple years ago, when he had that thumb injury or wrist injury, I can't remember which it was specifically, but he was good. So he's a solid enough quarterback to where the Bengals can still make the playoffs. But that is a thing where they absolutely have to address that O-line, because if not, you're wasting the $275 million you spent on Burrow. It's just a bad front office decision. So that's the biggest takeaway for me, because we had a lot of great games like the Broncos-Colts fiasco. That was insane. The Chiefs and kind of looking really vulnerable and really choking against the Eagles, honestly. There were a lot of great games this past weekend, but I think the main takeaway is the health of Joe Burrow. That's the biggest overall takeaway from the weekend. But it was filled. That 1 o'clock slot was elite.
A lot of injuries.
Incredible.
JJ McCarthy goes down as well, apparently. Jaden McDaniels or Jaden Daniels. I guess I always call him that for some reason. Jaden Daniels apparently banged up as well. I think there was one more.
Speaking of that, and I think there was. But my biggest takeaway besides Joe Burrow, I forgot to mention it because it's the Thursday night, but the Packers are legit. They might have the best pass rush I've seen in terms of just sending a 4-man rush, probably since like the 2021 Buccaneers. Yeah. I mean, their 4-man pass rush is absolutely incredible. Yeah,
it's all right.
And they have a young, talented roster. They're going to be tough.
All right.
Man. I think they're the best team in the league at the moment.
I'm not buying it.
No?
I'm
Not
buying
at
the
all.
defense. I'm buying the defense. It's good. I don't believe in Jordan Love. He gonna throw one of them things when it matters most. Will mark my words.
I'm actually a
I
Jordan
like
Love
Jordan Love
like
a lot, man.
stock buyer. I like
I
Jordan
like his
Love. I don't think
personality. I love his
it,
demeanor. I think he says great things about his teammates every time he gets put in front of a mic. I've never had anything negative to say. I even think like in lead up game situations, I've just don't even have anything bad about his game in particular. I think there's certain when the game's on the line, I feel like in certain moments, even though he's won games with the game on the line as well already, he's also shown that he will make errant throws when you bring pressure and get in his face. So
sure. Yeah, I mean he's a
He's
classic
gunslinger.
gunslinger where he's gonna throw a lot of touchdowns and a lot of picks. But the difference now, I feel like, is that he has such a good defense that there is a margin for error for him.
Yeah.
Game in, game out. You have Josh Jacobs at
True.
running back with a good O line, so you can rely on your run game. And now you have maybe not top tier talent at wide receiver, but you
some
have
athleticism.
two really good tight ends. You have a deep wide receiver room. So they might not have 1A level receivers, but they have good enough receivers with everything else on their offense to make a Super Bowl run. And you have Matt LaFleur, who's a great play caller. So he's going to put him in positions to not lose the game for them and to accentuate his strengths, which they've done in the first 2 weeks of the season. So they're legit.
And I think
they're the best team in the NFC in my book.
And
right
I
now.
think another also important aspect of, in terms of whether he is or is not this top tier guy in terms of Jordan Love, I mean, all of those are super power tier guys. That's the AFC. So in the NFC, I mean, the NFC, you
That's
could
true. That's a
say,
good point.
yeah, every playoff game, it could be a matter of where you can make the argument they have the best quarterback in those games. So
Whole different ball game in the AFC. You're right.
not fun out there, man. Not fun.
That's a good point, though, Will. That defense looks scary. It looks scary. They've got athletes all over the field on defense, like at every single position.
The Commanders don't have a good O-line.
True.
But they terrorized Jaden Daniels all night. But in week one, I mean, the Lions couldn't do anything. They couldn't do anything on their defense. And all they did, four-man rush. Held the running backs in check, Gibbs and Montgomery. And Jared Goff looked like trash. And everybody thought, oh, God, well, Ben Johnson's not there anymore. That's the death of the Lions being good. Then they hang 52 on the Bears. I know it's a high school team, but still. And all these 2-week takeaways, it's going to take time for us to really understand who's legit and who's not. But I do think by the end of the season, the Packers are going to be in the Super Bowl bubble.
And I would say, last thing I'll say is, I mean, I think the big kryptonite people think you can exploit with this team is the lack of talent in the secondary. It's not going to matter if they can drop 7 and just send 4 at you. It won't matter. It won't matter. So I think
and
that's
the secondary talent. It's maybe a couple guys that aren't that experienced and a couple, guys that maybe aren't as fast as they used to be, but they've still got the pieces in the secondary to be sustaining. I think too. I maybe not the most complete defense in the NFL. When fully healthy, that Eagles defense is still probably right up there. I think a fully healthy Ravens defense is also at 3 levels. I think they've got, probably at one of the.
Disagree.
You can disagree, but
I'm still trying to.
At secondary linebacker and defensive line, they've got a top 10 player at every one of those positions.
I'm a diehard Ravens fan, and yes, it's not Lamar. I've been a Ravens fan since I was a child, but the defensive line is trash. The pass rush is garbage. We had 2 sacks last week against Joe Flacco, who could not move from the pocket at all.
But it's not the guys out there. A couple of the guys out
there. No, we only sacked Josh Allen one time in week 1. Like, our pass rush consistently, I guess, except for the time we had Mike McDonald, our defensive coordinator, has been really bad. And people always point to sack numbers. They're like, oh, well, I mean, like, you're kind of middle of the pack in the league in terms of sacks. But against good teams, our sack numbers are atrocious. We never get pressure. I mean, just think about the second half against the Bills. Was there a single time where Josh Allen looked like he had any sort of pressure on him? Was he uncomfortable in any sense? No, he threw for 200-plus yards in the fucking fourth quarter. That's not somebody that's uncomfortable. So the Ravens have probably the most talented secondary in the league who can't cover.
Which is the weirdest thing. It's the weirdest thing.
Well, it's because
most athletic secondary in the league, and they can't do anything.
It's bizarre.
Never gets pressure, so I don't care if you had the best secondary in the league. It's not going to matter. That's why the Packers did it right, and the Buccaneers under Tom Brady did it right. You build from the line and back, because if you have a great pass rush in the NFL, you can hang with anybody, because you don't need to have 2 all-pro corners and garbage
They're
cans
going to get
at
home
pass
more
rushers.
times
You
than
need
not.
guys
yeah.
that can get to the quarterback. Yeah, Packers have done it right, and the Ravens have not, and that will be the difference between the Ravens not being a Super Bowl contender and other teams being in that bubble. So
hope not. What do you guys think of the Bucs going for 2 up 1 with that little of time left?
I wasn't mad at it, to be honest. I think
I didn't like it. I did not like it. If you mess that up,
well, I mean,
you mess that up and they take it to the house, that's game.
yeah. Todd Bowles is he's a defensive coordinator masquerading as a head coach. Like, he's a guy that is going to trust his defense no matter what. So his mindset was probably, we're going to put us in our best position possible to succeed. If we don't convert here, I trust our defense to not to not allow a field goal. So I don't hate it. I like the aggression.
on an interception or a fumble, you give up the 2 point.
No, I know. I know. And that's when you got to get in
5 seconds
say,
left.
hey, do not screw this up.
5, 6 seconds left. I don't know. Just wouldn't want to cost the game that early in the season like that when you looked like the better team all night. But yeah, interesting week in the NFL. I called it week 3. I meant going into week 3. It's week 2 of games. Right. Best game going into this week, fellas. What do we think it is after these injuries? I mean, not really the best slate. I'd probably think it's Lions, Ravens.
Lions.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to that. That'll be a big test game for the league to figure out who is legit, because now, like I said, I'm talking trash on the Ravens pass rush, but if they can beat up on the Bills, that's a different story. Looking at this slate,
it's awful. I mean,
it is pretty bad. Rams Eagles is a good game.
Be good.
Broncos Chargers.
It's all right. It's not some crazy good game anymore.
No, it's just Rams Eagles and Broncos Chargers on Sunday. I think are the only good ones. Other than that,
that Broncos
kind of piss
Broncos Charger. I might take that under 45.5 in that game.
I guess you could pitch Pittsburgh New England. I guess is a good game.
I mean, they're like a solid game.
I think Jets Buccaneers will be more exciting than people think. I agree. Exciting. Jets will lose another exciting game there.
I do definitely want to see Dallas and Chicago, just because I gotta understand.
Yeah, it's gonna be a shit.
Is this really just what it's gonna be for Chicago again?
They're going 0-3. Yes, they're going 0-3.
It's just no way, right, man? It's just no way, right?
They are. They are.
They look so bad, dude. They look so bad.
They're horrible.
They're bad. They're bad. The 49ers don't look crazy impressive at all.
Well, hey, Mac Jones started last week.
Bro.
He was dealing. He was shitting on the Saints defense. I don't know if you got to see much of it, Roman.
I watched it. I watched it. I watched it live. I
assume you probably did.
I watched it live, but I don't think that's going to be a team that is going to be like playoff contender like people. A lot of people I know thought that they were going to be this season.
Defense. Their era is over. It's done.
Defense doesn't look the same to me with the guys that they've got out there. But, fellas, moving on a little bit here. I want to get into a little bit of Louisville Ben's basketball talk. Point guard U talk, of course. You know, that's our brand. That's what we are. I want to get into it a little bit. Michael Brown hit 25 straight threes in front of the Jeff Goodman guys. He's dipping really low on the catch of his jumper, Will. You're the opposite of that, I know, as a shooter.
I dipped.
I thought you keep the ball really high.
No, I dipped to waist.
Really? I thought you caught high and kept it high. I didn't realize you dipped.
I mean, like I get the release off.
Yeah, because you have a quick release as well.
Kind of like Ray Allen.
He's dipping really low. It's a quick release, and I have no reason to think that it's going to be something you worry about. It is in the corner. They are off the catch. Somebody texted me, told me I was overthinking it. Somebody also texted me, said if he doesn't fix that, he's messed up. It's going to mess him up. I don't think it's that big of an issue because he's not going to be catching and shooting a lot. More so catching, pump faking, and attacking the basket and creating for others more so if he is doing a lot off the catch. But what do you guys think of what you saw from the field of 68 guys, from the Pat Kelsey talk about Michael Brown Jr., and just the environment that it seemed to be with Louisville and the pursuit of these kind of five-star guards going forward, now kind of seeming like we maybe have lost out on what is going to be Tay Kenny. I don't know how accurate that is. That's just what I keep hearing. So you guys okay with that? You think Tyron Stokes is now even more important of a player you need to go get? Are you guys thinking that you have to just trust Pat Kelsey to go and get the players that he wants and needs, regardless if it's that some big name freshman guard or not. He's still going to be able to go find the guys. He's proven that he can go get the guys that he wants out on the perimeter. What are you guys thinking with what you've seen some of the guys say with the Field of 68 guys in their interviews, and Pat Kelsey in particular?
You can go ahead, Will.
You can go ahead, KJ.
Well, I was gonna say as far as the Tay Kenny stuff. I mean, obviously, I would love to have him, and obviously, I don't have an ear to anybody who has any reports. But yeah, obviously, things I'm scrolling by are seeing that Kansas is gonna get him. But I never took Mikael Brown to mean that just this. As far as the Pat Kelsey era will just be every year we have a freshman point guard who just comes in mercenary work. So it is disappointing, but the sky's not falling or anything of that. But as far as the Field of 68 stuff, I mean, this is like, I think it's so obvious. Pat Kelsey, like, he genuinely thinks he has a team he can win the national championship with.
Yeah.
The excitement just around this team every time we turn. I mean, it was put on display because Field 68 obviously is they're this big media outlet, but just like here locally, every time we turn them, we can speak to this. The excitement around this team is it's just so palpable, and it's in every little thing they do, and just to see it put on display like that was really cool to me. And so my biggest takeaway is just that I really think these guys think they have a national championship roster here, and I think the expectation is that they go out and they accomplish that goal.
Is that your personal expectation, KJ?
I'm not gonna put that expectation on it. I do think. I mean, I try to be a pessimist with myself, just keep myself realistic. But I do think if you look at it rationally, I mean, these are the pieces of a national championship team. I mean, you have the question marks. You don't know what you have at the front court yet. I think that's just plain and simple. You don't, given what you're gonna do there. But I don't think there's any argument to me that this is the best guard rotation in the country, given what I know about the players who will be in college basketball next year. So I do think. I would say Final Four. I think it should happen. I would put that as my expectation.
Starting with the Taylor Guinea stuff, I agree with KJ. Like, is it unfortunate? Definitely, but I'm not too worried about it. Honestly, I think Pat Kelsey's first year, he put together a really good roster in a limited amount of time, and we competed for an ACC championship. This year, in his first offseason, he got the top point guard in his class. He got the best transfer portal class in the country, and he got one of the best bigs out of Germany, and was able to retain some of his roster still. So we have one of the best rosters in the country. So I wholeheartedly believe and have faith in Pat Kelsey's ability to put a roster together that fits his personnel needs, and also just a roster of high-level character guys. So from the Field of 68 stuff, I watched all the interviews with Ali, Sonny, Russ Smith, Ryan Conwell, Pat Kelsey, and the impression that I got is that this team is prepared, they're eager, and they have the goods to get it done. Everybody that has been in that gym at the Keeper Center this summer has only said positive things about the team. I think that we have the best shooting roster in UofL history. Not like that's a major bar to clear, but it's should be on paper an almost unstoppable offense. People worry about the front court. I trust Sonny now. I have belief in Ali. And Zoo seems like a guy that can be an enforcer for us. And then you have Mo Kamara. Who knows what you're going to get there? But still, you have insurance policies.
Can I 7 foot? Don't forget that.
Yeah, right. So Kanai and Kaysen, they could be small ball fives. I think we have the ability to be whatever we want to be in terms of personnel. And that's one thing about our last national championship team that we had was the ability to answer anything that a team brought at us, whether it was offensively or defensively. We had the ability to adjust, and we had the personnel that can put those adjustments and execute them effectively. So that's the main thing for us. We have ball handlers, we have shooters, we have athletic defenders, and we have a great coaching staff. So I feel great about the season. I do think this is a national championship level roster on paper. You never know how it's going to turn out when the season starts, but it's been building this offseason, just this aura around the team, and now there's just been this shift this summer to where people expect us to be exactly where Louisville basketball should be. We're now officially back. Pat Kelsey has revived the program, and now we're rolling like we were in the prime of the Rick Pitino years and the prime of Denny Crum years. Now, does that mean that we're point guard you?
Yes.
No. I love Peyton. I love Michael Brown. I love Peyton Siva, Russ Smith, Terry Rozier, Donovan Mitchell. I love those
Chucky
guys.
Hepburn,
But
best point guard in the
Chucky
nation
Hepburn, but-
last season. Will.
I don't think we're point guard you. Just in my opinion, like, do we have guys that have been incredible college players? Yeah. But haven't had enough that have translated to the NBA and been high level NBA players to really consider us to be point guard you, shooting guard you, any position you, honestly. Louisville is not an NBA factory like Kentucky, Duke, North Carolina. I hate to say it, but it's just the truth. But we've been able to maximize the talent we have available, and I think that's a better quality to have than somebody like Calipari, who can have 50% of his players drafted, including walk-ons, and have one national championship in 15 years. I would rather jump off the Second Street Bridge than have that kind of production under Calipari. So Rick Pitino, Denny Crum, those guys had talented rosters, made use of them. We have 3 national championships. Pat Kelsey is a guy that can recruit, similar to how Denny Crum was back in the day. So I think we'll have a lot more NBA talent now than we did under Rick. But you can't say right now that we're point guard you. I disagree in principle. Not yet.
Yeah.
But we have the makeup to be a national championship contender and winner.
Point guard you either have to be like
let's see.
creating some of the best point guards in the nation after like 3 or 4 years of having them, right? Like Braden Smith, or if Purdue is creating Braden Smiths over and over from continuity, or if you're bringing in Michael Brown Jr.'s every single season type of a thing, right? Creating Chucky Hepburns every single season. Then you can kind of label yourself that until you've done it 3 or 4 years in a row. Can't really gain that title. And then they've also got to the point guard's got to go do something that warrants where did they come from, right? Oh, that's the Louisville point guard, right? They got to go warrant that question being asked as well. I haven't had enough of that happening as well. But we'll make it happen, Will. It's only a matter of time. Michael
Scott
Brown.
Clark's still out
I
there
agree.
doing it. I think he got one more. I think he got one more year left.
Chucky, that's number 1. We got Mike Hill. We've had some in the past. We'll have more in the future. It's going to happen. Fellas, anything else we haven't really touched on? I think that's for the most part everything we said we were going to get to.
I guess score predictions for Bowling Green.
Oh, wow. We completely missed that, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
About the roster, Roman, do you remember the name Drew Pine? Does that ring a bell at all?
A little bit, yeah.
So he was a trash can quarterback for Notre Dame, and he is their starting quarterback. He's been decent so far this year. They have some good skill players, like Cameron Petaway as a running back.
He's all right.
Jiren Johnson. I think Jiren Johnson's their best receiver, or Finn Hogan. Like, they have decent players, and they're 2-1. They were competitive enough against Cincinnati. That's not saying much, but still, they won't just roll over and die. I think I predicted us.
They'll take chances down the field too. The secondary will get tested a little bit,
Yeah, we'll be tested. Yeah. I think the 26.5 spread is actually pretty respectful for us. I didn't think it'd be that high starting out, just based on
it'd be like 21.
What they've done so far this season. I figured it would have been closer to like 19.5. So I'm not too confident in taking the points, just because I'm a little apprehensive on what we're going to get this year. Or this week. I still don't really know too much about us. But
Jeff
Drew
doesn't
Pine
want to go
sucks.
deep in that playbook, regardless of what people think.
Right. It's a good point. I said 49-17 in my preseason prediction. I'm going to lower our point total, but keep it at 17 for Bowling Green just for now. I don't think they'll get that high, but like, if EKU could score 17 on us, I'm not going to say Bowling Green can't. So I'm going to say 37-17 UofL.
I like it. I'm a little bit less. I don't think we're going to get up to that 37 mark. I would like to see it. I imagine we get a little bit of a lead, and then for whatever reason we let off the gas, partially due to the play calling. I think it's more in that like 13 range. I'd say like 31-13, 34-13.
Yeah, I was going to say 31-13 exactly. I definitely don't think you get shown much, especially when Pitt next week they're on a bye this week, so they're gonna have 2 weeks to prepare for you. So I think we're gonna be really close to the vest. Just make sure we win. Just leave it at that.
I love it. I love it. We did get some comments here in the chat. Shout out to Bolt Up Beer Down. He said Burrow. He said we already beat the Chiefs. Talking about the Chargers. Bolt Up Beer Down. Chiefs is a Chargers podcast that is local to the Louisville scene.
Oh
Just
shit,
new, up and coming. Bolt Up Beer Down. Hey KJ,
yeah.
reach out to them.
Man,
Let them know you'll tap in with them.
Definitely.
Get some real Spill Bolt Up link up. A little real Spill Bolt Up live show maybe. Get them on. Join up with the Bolt Up guys if we can. But fellas, this is gonna wrap us up here. Unfortunately, we didn't get Trevor Kelsey in. Must be having a long night. We'll definitely get him in post game this Saturday, right after the show, right after the game, right after the beatdown. Let's call it the methodical beatdown over Bowling Green this Saturday. Trev is going to be going live post game, uncensored with Trevor Kelsey. So stay tuned for that. We'll try to join up with them if we're free post game ourselves as well, depending on what we're all doing Saturday. But you can expect Trevor to be going live. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Thank you all so much for watching us. Like, comment, subscribe, repost, share, send it to your family group chat, send it to the Facebook Messenger groups that you never look at. We need to be in those as well. Let them know about the Real Spill live show. Fellas, anything else before we get out of here?
We're good.
All right. That is going to wrap us up on the Real Spill live show. We'll be back next week. Post game this weekend. Go Cards.
Go Cards.